well, down 14, up 15, and overtime.
Yeah, I'm happy for our guys. Obviously, we needed to get that win. Obviously, a hard fought game. You go into overtime. Up I think 13 with 6 minutes to play, and that's where we kind of let our guard down a little bit. Had a couple of defensive lapses, bad turnovers, and then we had shots that didn't fall. So the combination of those three, and all of a sudden you got a ball game. So just trying to find a way when we find ourselves in those situations to just pull away with it. And I told those guys, you know what, I got to help them because there's a situation where we had a timeout and we got the ball in, but it led to a turnover. If I take the timeout, maybe to help get us organized a bit. And we had a foul to give, and we didn't take it. It wound up being free throws. So keeping those guys organized on both ends in those special situations, I think will benefit us going forward.
It was an experience where, what'd you say at halftime? Because you guys were still down at that point, and then KCP came out and got hot, and thought you guys kind of rallied from that point.
It wasn't anything. Showed a few clips as far as things we could clean up, but then the message was they were playing with more desperation than we were, and they'd been struggling, but yet so have we. So who wants it more?
You just talk about really the championship DNA of Kuz, and obviously KCP. I think he had the first 4 shots in that third quarter, and Kuz closed the show.
To their credit, they played in big moments, in big games. So I don't think they're fazed by much. They've been in every situation I'm sure is possible, and been down, been up. So finding a way to win, they've been through those situations. I think it'd be good for our overall team growth to have guys like that, but also you can trust them.
It might get lost tomorrow, but Denny's start was amazing. Just looking at the balance that you were able to get offensively. Is that what you're looking for? At least trying to get these guys back to where they were when you guys were 10-3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you get that balance, it's of course going to be top heavy at times, but when you have that second unit play at a high level, there's not a ton of drop off. I think that's when we're really good.
Chase.
Wes, how big was it to have Daniel Gafford come back, after that injury and play as well as he did?
Oh, he was tremendous. I didn't think he was going to be able to come back, honestly. They worked on it at halftime, and he said he was going to give it a try. And to his credit, he was able to gut it out. We needed him on the floor, and he had some great possessions, switching, keeping the guy in front, making plays at the rim. So I give him a lot of credit for that.
There was a huge free throw disparity in the first half. Was it a matter of just things evening out, or is there something you guys did different in the second half to catch up?
Well, they were ultra aggressive in that first half, and we know that's who they are. That's how they play. They're top 3 in free throw rate. So they're going to put their head down. They're going to keep going. And whether they're fouls or not, they're putting themselves in position to get the call. So we had to be mindful of, hey, try to defend without fouling, but let's also turn up our aggression. Let's be more downhill, stay in attack mode. And I thought it, played in our favor in the second half.
Josh.
Wes, I know you're happy to get the win, and really there's no such thing as an ugly win, but how disconcerting was it that the Pistons closed out regulation on a 16-3 run against your starting 5?
It happens. It's not for the lack of effort. I thought we had some good looks that didn't go in. That team's never going to quit. To their credit, they keep playing. They've shown that ability all season. Hasn't always tipped in their favor, but I have to give them a lot of credit for staying in the game. It doesn't concern me a lot. Obviously, we have to look at it and understand why, but I think the offense was trying to create the right types of shots. We just didn't make them.
What did you see from Spencer in the overtime? He had 2 assists, both leading to threes, including Kyle's go-ahead 3. He had a 3 of his own and a steal.
Just overall poise. He's a guy who's been around. He understands the game. He reads it well. He's able to help keep us organized in those stretches. We know we're going to play through him, play through Brad. And a lot of guys will benefit from that. It's typical of that last play. Teams are up and aggressive. Gaff rolls. They find him in the pocket. He makes the right kick out, and Spence makes the extra pass. Obviously, Kuz steps up, makes a huge shot. So obviously those situations aren't unique, but, I think with Brad and Spencer on the floor, both those guys are kind of quarterbacking our overall presence.
How close did you and your assistant coaches come to any substantial rotation changes heading into this game?
None really. It was just more of let's do it better, because we've done it before with the same group. So of course we have to continue to reevaluate things as the season plays out. But we've dropped 4 in a row. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not where we want to be, but we also were 10-3 in our first 13 games. So I don't know if it's if we're that good or we are as bad as we have been the last 4 games. I think we're probably somewhere on the left side of that spectrum.
Thank you.
Neil.
Hey, Coach, you guys have had turnover issues, at varying points so far this season through 26 games. Can you see any common threads that are leading to those?
Yeah, I mean, nightly, it's some of the same situations. We're over dribbling, we're playing in crowds, we're not getting off the ball in a timely manner, we're not spaced correctly, and sometimes each of those categories are more heavily weighted from quarter to quarter. And just like the other night in Indiana, it wasn't the sheer volume of turnovers. It was 12 for the game, but we didn't show a lot of resilience once we turned it over. We allowed 21 points off those turnovers. 12 overall is not a bad number. It's just the volume of points that we're giving up.
And Trez only played 4 minutes in the second half. What was the thought process there?
Nothing really. I mean, I thought Trez was great. I just don't. I like the group that we had out there. We just rode that group.
And kind of an off-ball question, do you think that the challenge rule should change such that if you win your challenge, you get to keep it?
Well, you do, unless it's your mandatory. So I know it's one of those things, kind of confusing at times, but I think the challenge with coaches is the possession challenge, where you can challenge a foul throughout the game, but you only have one, so you need to hold on to it, if you want, and need that situation late in the game or in overtime to challenge for possession. So that'd probably be the only change I think that's on the docket.
Thanks, Coach. Safe travels back.
Thank you.
Last question, Wayne.
How you doing, Coach? Could you just talk about how pivotal Anthony Gill's minutes was tonight?
AG was tremendous. I mean, doesn't get a lot of credit for what he brings daily. His energy, his enthusiasm. He's always kind of like the first guy in the gym. He's got a good spirit about him, very competitive, and he always stays ready. And to his credit, he came out and impacted the game for us tonight. We wanted to go small. They were small. Tried to stay in our switches, which proved beneficial for us, and he played a big role.
And lastly, Coach, like you said, it just came down to who wanted it. But with a young team like the Pistons, what kind of things were, after seeing them live, or, surprised at the things they just do good that other people usually just look over because of the record?
Just how hard they compete. I mean, it's easy to fall into that, that sense of, playing a team's record, but these guys play hard. They play together and they keep coming at you. So there's never an easy win in the NBA. And I think at times you're fighting human nature. If you pay attention to box scores, or you're looking at, standings, maybe you fall into that trap, so it's just kind of a cautionary tale. You can never assume these guys are going to keep coming at you.
There you go. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Much needed win like this.
First praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It was just a good win, man. We just we battled it out. Wasn't pretty, but we did everything necessary to win the game. So it's definitely hats off to our guys, man. We worked tremendously hard the whole night. And it wasn't easy. Hats off to Detroit. We're kind of both in the same little funk. They're trying to find their way out of their little funk, and we were trying to do the same. So, they came out very aggressive, kind of hit us first, and we responded well. We did a good job staying poised. Pope came out in the third and really gave us a great lift, and we closed it out down the stretch.
Is there value in going through some of these situations like this for, still a relatively new team together?
For sure. It's always you learn something every game. That at least that's a goal of going into it. We still have a lot we can clean up. Still, we got a lot we can get better at. But we competed the whole night. Granted, they made some tough shots down the stretch. We got to stop turning the ball over, especially my ass. But we did everything we needed to do to win. We stayed poised, made big shots down the stretch. Got to do it.
One or twos again. Cleveland. What is it about the championship DNA of him and KCP to kind of get you guys going in that second half?
Like you just said, those two guys have rings, so they know what it takes to play down the stretch, to be in those close games, be in those clutch moments. And, down the stretch, they're going to double me, which I knew they were going to do. And I just tell our bigs to be ready to catch and make a play, and everybody else be ready to shoot because somebody's going to be open, whether it's Pope, Kuz, Spence, somebody's going to be open. And each of them hit a big shot down the stretch for us. So it was another night for Kuz. Kuz stepped up. He even missed the one before that, but he shot the next one with confidence and knocked it down, So we're figuring it out, Like I said, not everything is pretty, but being able to trust guys in late in games is always a great feeling.
Sadiq didn't want to give up the ball, and you were trying to get the ball. I think that kind of got you turned up a little bit. Do you need some of that sometimes, where you're kind of like,
yeah, there's times. It's a long year. We're all human beings. We have days in which it's tough for us to go to work. It's tough for us to be energized, and you need to snap out of it. And sometimes some players talking trash and being physical with you will kind of get you going and snap you out of it. Sometimes it happens to me. Sometimes it's necessary. It wasn't like that necessarily tonight. They actually, not a lot, actually it kind of was. They started chirping a little bit in the first half, and that kind of got us going. So, yeah. I love K. I was always a fan of his in high school. Like, I coached AAU basketball. We played him. I used to always watch him on the EYBL circuit. So I knew he was a pro before he probably knew he was a damn pro. So to see him now is crazy. Makes me feel old, but it also is enlightening to see, one, the grassroots level and how well we take care of our high school kids and how we're pushing them to get to this level and maximize their potential. And then two, it's all about Kate. That's his dream. It's his goal. Ultimately, he put in the work to get to where he is. He deserves every single ounce of success he achieves. And I'm happy that he's healthy and he's out here leading his team. As a rookie, he has heart, he has toughness, he has confidence. That's all stuff that you need. But I told him after the game, just keep going, stay humble, stay hungry, because he's gonna be a problem for years to come. That's for sure. Initially, but he wasn't barking at me. He was barking though. He wasn't barking at me. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. It was a lot of talking, but none was really directed towards me. So I kind of fed off that energy of my teammates and everybody. Then the refs, everybody. It was just a wild game. It was just a wild game. Everybody was a little chippy. Everybody was a little emotional. So, and everybody wanted to win. I think that's just what it came down to. Both teams just trying to find a win, and the chippiness got into it. But that's the league.
One off-court question. Today you signed with Jumpman. How important was that?
Re-signing with Jumpman was, man, beyond important. We've been working diligently to get this done. And it's a blessing, man, because we all know how exclusive that group is. And I always say it's like an elite mob, like mafia type group. Like you gotta be in the family to get in the family. Like, so to have that welcome from Mike, that official, I want you back, that means the world. And but two, it's motivation, to continue to build on the brand, continue to respect it, wear it with pride, and then produce on the floor. Ultimately that's what he did. That's what he stood for, so. The logo, so I drew a lot of sketches early on, and then I actually hired Rare Design, a team down in Bama, who does amazing design work, and they came up with a few silhouettes and a few logos, and a big process over the past, I would say, year. And they worked extremely hard to get this thing done. And it's I love it. I love every bit of the logo for sure.
Chase.
Hey, Brad, I know a lot transpired after, but how big was it for KCP to come out and score the first 10 points for you guys in the third quarter?
Oh, it was huge, man. I think he got off to a little slow start in the beginning of the game, but he stayed poised, he stayed with it, and he made the first shot. And I think I ran the next 4 plays to him, and I think he scored on all of them. And that's just what we need, you know. He provided a spark for us. Somebody's hot, got to keep giving him the ball, you know, no matter who it is. You know, he's hot, especially our shooters. You know, we got to really get our shooters going. We got to get our percentages up. And us guards got to be better at penetrating and finding easier shots for our shooters. And, you know, so when Pope gets going, you know, it's important he sees it again. You know, he touches it again. And so, you know, he did that. He carried us. He brought us back into the game. I think we were down 8 at half. He brought us back. We were up 2. And we kind of just took it over from there.
And Coach Unseld said he didn't think that Daniel Gafford was going to be able to come back in the game. And then, you know, he had 5 blocks after he came back. Just how important was that for you guys?
Oh, it was huge, man, because we at halftime, they told us he wasn't coming back. And so we went with Trez, and I even told Kuz, like, be ready to play some 5, be ready to rebound, because we're going to need him. But, you know, to see Gav back out there shows his toughness, man. You know, he works extremely hard on his body and taking care of it. And, you know, to see his toughness get back out there, get 5 blocks after that's huge. You know, we need his presence at all times. And everybody, man, it just goes down the line. You know, it just shows, you know, tonight was a really, really big gut check win for us.
Last question to Josh.
Brad, people like me, I suppose, you know, reporters and then people watching at home are always interested to see, you know, what happens at halftime, right? Can you describe whether anything gets said at a halftime like that, where you guys are not playing the way you want to play, or the degree to which you guys speak among each other?
Honestly, today I think our only message was stop turning the ball over and stop fouling, because they were shooting a lot of free throws, and we understood that was kind of the only thing beating us. They weren't beating us with anything else. We just kept fouling them. We were jumping on every pump fake, just sending them to the line, you know. So we literally just told each other, like, we know what we need to do. We're in the game. We went on a nice little run in the half, but you know, for us to be the team we need to be, we have to stop fouling. We got to guard without fouling. And because we do that, we're not playing against a set defense. You know, we're giving ourselves a chance, you know, in transition, you know, give ourselves advantages on the offensive end. So it was just more or less take care of the ball and stop fouling. And we did that. We came out more aggressive on the defense. We came out, got like 4 stops in a row, 4 or 5 stops in a row. And we converted on those. And I think that's another big difference. In the past, we haven't converted on our turnovers and on our defensive stops, you know, and I think we did that tonight.
You know better than anybody what it takes to have a shooter's mentality. What do you make of Kyle's shooter's mentality, given how he's made some big threes down the stretches of some tight games?
My dad always taught me amnesia. You know, I think Kyle has that. You know, it's just the last shot is the last shot, whether he made it, whether he missed it, you know, and it's on to the next one. And I think more or less it's him being in the moment, staying in the moment, you know, not being too high, not being too low. You know, obviously being ready, you know, in those situations is a big factor too. You know, he doesn't shy away from those moments, and that's key for us, because now we have 4 or 5 guys who want to take the shot, who will take the shot at the end of the game. So to know we have that, you know, it makes my job easy. You know, if I don't have it, I can get off it and, you know, let somebody else, you know, take the shot. So it's cool.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, appreciate you, Brad.
Yeah.
Sequence, last shot.
Yeah, you know, we you know, just try to get the, you know, best shot possible. Having Brad up there, trying to have him make a play in the game, and you know, he got off it. Spencer made a the right play with my guy stunting to him, and the ball found me, and I just hit the shot.
Was it a little bit extra?
Oh yeah, no, that moment that meant everything to me. Honestly, outside of winning the championship, that was everything. Coming home, growing up a Pistons fan, and hitting a game winner on that floor with my mom there. I mean, that's like a full circle moment. So that meant everything.
Kind of before the game, you wore a shirt that was really significant for this community. Can you describe kind of your thoughts of doing that? And what did it feel like how to come home, close to home, close to show?
Man, I honestly got a lot of thoughts. So forgive me if this is not clear. It's just tragic that thinking about parents and thinking about having kids and having to send your kids to school and never seeing them again. That's just such a really, really sad moment. And I think it just talks a lot about gun violence in America and just how easy it is to access these semi-automatic type of guns, and let alone a kid. If you look at his parents, obviously I believe people, you should have guns, it's a safety measure, but it shouldn't be that easy, especially for a child and parents. It's on them. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So, I think that, there are responsibility for parents out there. If you're going to, give children's gun, you have to live with those consequences as well. And flip side of it, mental health it's a real thing. It's a real thing in this world. And and granted, I don't know everything about the situation. I've tried to do as much research as I can, but the school and the kid wrote a letter, talking about help me, and this world is dead, and I think parents and people should recognize these signs in America, in our society today, and understand that there are people out there crying for help, but at the same time, that doesn't mean take people's lives. It's just a real sad situation, honestly. And for me, I just wanted, obviously being from here, Oxford's not that far from where I lived, probably 25, 30 miles, but yeah, my heart is out there for, those families that lost, their children. They can never see their children. They can never touch and hold them again. It's real sad. So.
And really unfortunate transition to a game, right? But to come home and hit a big time shot like that, a la Cleveland, it's just corner booze. I mean, what are we calling this?
I don't know what to call it. I just love, these type of moments. You have an opportunity to hit game winners. That's what you dream of as a kid. When you're in your bedroom playing on your hoop on the wall, is 3, 2, 1. That's just what you live for. So, I want those moments, and I'm ready for those moments. I put a lot of work in.
Chase.
Hey, Kuz, you also had a big shot. I think it was in the fourth quarter, and kind of raised your hand to your ear. I'm just wondering who was that to and why?
Just fans. They just always be talking shit to me every game. So I love it. I love hearing it. It gets me going, and yeah, it's what it is.
And Daniel Gafford, Beal said that you guys were told he wasn't going to return, and then he does return and has 5 blocks. Just how big was that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he came back out like he was Willis Reed or somebody. Came out the tunnel, came out 5 blocks. It was big. And even finished the game. Obviously, You know, had a little tough stretch at the end with Kate, you know, getting to the rim and fighting those switches. But, you know, just talks about how, you know, how dedicated he is, how much he wants to win, and how important, you know, we are to him, you know, and he feels like he needs to be out there and, you know, play the big game for us.
All right, that's all the time we got for Kuz tonight. Appreciate you.
Cool.